Hey guys, Alex here with Couch Ninja Warriors, and I got another gun under $200 today. What we got here is the CZ Model 50. In this video, I'm just going to do a quick look, tell you a little bit about the gun, and then we'll do another video where we take it out to the range and actually show you it shooting. So, it's a 32 caliber, or as you can see here, 7.65. And then you can see the model markings here, 50, and then model 50 down here. It's also known as the VZ because it was actually adopted by the military shortly after World War II. So the disassembly is super simple on this. There's a button on the right side, you can see right here. You just push that button down, pull the slide back, and there you go. Easy as that. So I'm just going to go ahead and look this over. I just picked this up for 200 bucks. I'm going to go ahead and look it over, get it clean because it is dirty. So I'm just going to be doing a wipe down with some solvent. And after we're all done wiping it down, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of oil. But other than that, I'm not going to go into a super detailed strip of the gun. There's really nothing to it. As you see, that was the takedown button, I guess you could call it. And then here's the recoil spring. It's very similar to Walther PPK. Same kind of action. Very similar design. Let's see if we can see down the barrel. See how it looks. It's dirty. There we go. You can see it's nice and clean in there. It doesn't look like there's too much rust or pitting or anything like that. It looks pretty clean. Went ahead and swabbed the barrel. Go ahead and get all that stuff out of there. So obviously this pistol is a double action, single action only, and it's chambered in 32 ACP. The reason I'm going ahead and just cleaning it just because I was also wanting to check with these old pistols. There's a lot of people who, use and abuse them and then sell them to a pawn shop, which is where I got it. So I'm also checking to make sure there's no, like a crack in the barrel or anything major that would lead me to believe that this gun is unsafe to operate. You always want to do that with used guns. If you're able to take them apart, make sure they're safe to fire. Make sure you don't see anything that would be detrimental to the safety of the gun. Otherwise, this one seems like it's okay. It's just dirty, probably from being shot and never cleaned. Or, just sitting around collecting dust and junk for years. But I'm not seeing anything that would lead me to believe this gun is unsafe, which I kind of figured, but thought I better safe than sorry. But go ahead and show you how to take a magazine apart too. Super simple. If you've ever taken apart a gun in your life, you probably figure it out, but what's cool about this gun is that it's got a safety that doesn't act as a decocker unless you want it to. It kind of has a second stage for its decocker. So now when you're putting it back together, you got to push down that button again, pull the slide back. There you go. Yeah, it's really easy. And I'm sure all of you smarties out there could figure it out on your own. Put that down. I'll clean it a little bit better before we take it out. I'm just trying to make this video short. So, what's cool about this gun, you got the, obviously it's ready to fire, safety, and then if you pull down past the safety, it actually decocks the gun, which is kind of neat. I thought that was a neat feature. When I first activated the safety, I thought it was automatically a decocker, which it's not. So, that's kind of cool, in my opinion. Grips on here are, typical, late post-World War II, early post-World War II, kind of plastic grips. The gun's actually pretty light for being all metal. That was the first thing I noticed, is I was expecting it to be a lot heavier, and it's not. It's definitely not up to modern day standards, but I think it's pretty light for the era. I got a little bit of rust on the frame. I'll have to take care of that later. So, let's show you the magazine. So, take the magazine apart. I thought it was kind of cool. They actually put the magazine spring, it goes up into the tab. So you pull this little bent part of the magazine spring down. Right, if you can get it. I'm gonna probably have to use my knife here. So pull that magazine spring right down there. It's just a little nub right there, if you can see that. And then once you pull that out of the way, you can see how the magazine's bent. There you go. And then it's an 8-round magazine, so you can top it off and make it 9, I suppose. I don't know about the reliability for that. If that would affect the reliability of these, these early semi-autos, tend to be finicky with ammo and carry, and sometimes, you gotta download the magazine even though it can hold 9, only put 8, stuff like that. I haven't shot this gun yet, so we'll find all that out in our next video, but right now, we're just kinda, taking a look at it. So, as you can see, it has 7 witness holes, plus 1 at the top, so 8 rounds. The sights on this are really small, typical of the day. You can see down here. Really small sights. And then deactivate or decock. And then reassembly is pretty simple too. Obviously, just do the opposite. Put that there. Make sure you put the magazine spring back in the same way, so that way that little tab goes back in. So make sure that little thing goes back into its cutout. Oh, didn't make it. This would be a lot easier if I didn't have fat little sausage fingers, but gotta do what you gotta do. If I weren't blind. But hey. Alright, I got it. Sorry about that. So, 8 rounds. We'll see if we could +1 it and make it 9, which is, a little bit better than most guns around that age, and especially for one that's small. Considering the era, this would probably be considered the pocket pistol of the day. It's kind of big by modern day standards. It's probably Glock 19 size, maybe just a little smaller. Which 8 rounds of 32 isn't a whole lot of firepower for the weight that you're getting. So the magazine release and the safety on this gun are pretty cool. They're actually recessed, which would be a sign that this was, to me, that this gun was actually meant to be carried. Again, I didn't go through all the history and whatnot of this gun. I just picked it up, looked up the model, checked the highlights, and that was about it. So that's kind of cool that the safety and the magazine release are recessed, so if it's carrying against your body, it doesn't actually accidentally activate one of those. Trigger pull, double action, single action. So single action, or rather double action, trigger pull is really stiff. It's really short, but it's stiff. I mean, you can see it's a short travel. Or at least it feels really short. but it's very stiff. You're probably better off carrying it cocked and locked, and then sticking with the single action. The single action's butter smooth and really light, probably 3 pounds, maybe. It's super sensitive, so your mileage may vary. These are surplus guns, so who knows? This one might just have an excellent trigger. Who knows who's worked on it? You know, hell, the springs could just be weak, and that's why it's so smooth. But anyways, also something I noticed was typical thumbs forward carry on or thumbs forward shooting on this. The slide's pretty low, so you might want to be careful. Just hold a smaller or short or lower grip. The way I would do it would be hold your thumb under your shooting hand's thumb under the safety. Unless you're wrong-handed, then that's not going to work. Then go ahead and just dangle your left, because otherwise, if you do, you know, a typical high pistol grip, you're probably going to have your thumbs right against the slide and probably going to get some slide bite. Also, this doesn't have really a dramatic beaver tail or anything. It does have a little bit of a, you know, cut out. Put your fat meaty hand in there, so that way the slide doesn't bite you. But if you go for it also has a slide lock. So last round, hold open if you will. So you're probably okay, but if you try to hold it any, you know, above that, you're probably gonna get some slide bite, or if you have fat meaty hands like mine. Anyways, so that's pretty much all I have to say about this little gun. We'll go ahead and post a video of us shooting it, but until then, we'll see you next time, and have a good one.